Extreme Championship.
So I've been sitting here in the old bat cave thinking about blood. Now, some of you guys might be asking yourselves, Goldizzy, why in the world are you talking about blood? You've been talking about mullets, bald heads, snakes, and now you're talking about blood? Well, yeah, I'm talking about blood. Because there's a lot of people out there in this world that look at blood as such a horrible and disgusting thing. Like, blood is, I don't know, the devil? Well, why is that? Why do these people think that? When blood is such an essential thing needed to survive. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I would be able to sit here and make this video if I didn't have blood flowing through my veins. Could you? There are a lot of things that couldn't survive without blood. Especially vampires. That's right. Vampires need blood to survive. Now let's think about one important vampire that was very important to me in my childhood. The Count. That's right, I said it, the Count. He lived on this street, you might know, Sesame Street. And the Count taught me everything I need to know about 1, 2, 3. You know, numbers. And without him, I wouldn't be able to know how to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Ha ha ha. So I thank the Count for having blood so he could be able to teach me how to count. Also, there's this organization that I can remember in college when I was walking on campus. They would always have this table set up. I don't know. I can't seem to think of it right now. What was it? Oh, that's right. Those guys. And what are they always trying to get from you? That's right. Blood. So it's funny how all these people want to point their fingers at blood on TV, yet without blood they wouldn't be able to stick that crusty old finger up and point it at anybody, would they? No, they wouldn't. You see, what I'm getting at is that blood has played a major role in pro wrestling, and the WWE hasn't been able to utilize blood on their shows anymore because of angry people that like to point their fingers. And it's a shame. Well, I'm not saying that blood is needed on a daily basis. It's not. But blood is definitely needed to help tell the story of a match. It could definitely add a little bit of excitement to a match, and for that it should definitely be utilized every once in a while. Now, a lot of you people think that blood got its start in wrestling during the Attitude Era, and I'm sorry guys, but that is far from the truth, because blood has been in wrestling for many years. I believe it got its start around the 60s, and Dusty Rhodes and the Nature Boy Ric Flair have been battling each other all throughout the late 70s and the 80s, and they've been bleeding like stuck pigs in just about every match. And they've had some hell of a matches. I mean, just look at their faces. It's ridiculous. Now, a lot of people also wonder, is blood even real in wrestling? Well, that's a yes and a no answer. Yes, the blood that you see pouring out of people's faces, their foreheads mainly, that's about as real as it gets. You see, they use these things called razors. You might have heard of them. If you guys have watched the movie The Wrestler, you'll see Randy the Ram actually sitting backstage in the locker room preparing his blade. You can see him snipping the razor into a small piece and taping it up and hiding it in his wristband so that he can utilize it later on during the match. And that's what a lot of the wrestlers do. Of course, when you make it to the big times, the refs actually hold on to the blades and they pass them off during the match, so that way the wrestlers don't accidentally cut themselves during the match. Now, fake blood is usually used for an internal injury. A lot of times you'll see wrestlers get brutally beat down, and all of a sudden you'll see them bleeding from the mouth. And that blood is usually fake. That's when they use blood capsules or something of that nature. So yeah, blood in wrestling is real and fake. Usually the outside blood that you see on the body is real, and the internal blood coming from within, that's usually fake, unless they really got messed up in the ring. Then it could be real. Like I said, bleeding is not always needed, but it could definitely be utilized from time to time. Blood isn't always a bad thing, and it sucks to see that blood is no longer used in the WWE, because the WWE really made blood famous. Stone Cold Steve Austin had a shirt made after him for a match he had with Bret the Hitman Hart at WrestleMania. You guys might remember that shirt. It was called Bloodstone. That's right. Very famous match between him and Bret the Hitman Hart in a I Quit match with Ken Shamrock as the guest referee. And I believe that was WrestleMania 13, if I'm not mistaken. So wrestling and blood kind of go hand in hand. And a lot of wrestlers have been known to be great bleeders. Dusty Rhodes and the Nature Boy Ric Flair would have to be on the top of that list because they had that platinum blonde hair. And when they would start to bleed, it would immediately soak up all the blood, and their hair would turn from platinum to blood red in a matter of moments. And it was amazing. And you know, it's those kind of moments, like the Bloodstone moments, like the classic Rhodes and Flair matches, and the classic, you know, HBK matches. You know, he's been known to bleed as well. And you know, it's those kind of moments that really make wrestling special. And if it's used sparingly and at the right moment, I don't see a thing wrong with it. Now, for all you mommies out there that want to bitch and complain and moan about blood, I think you ought to take a look at yourselves in the mirror and take that finger and point it right back at yourself, because I guarantee you, you're not as prim and proper as you want people to think you are. So, blood is essential to live, and without it, I would die. So, don't let wrestling die. And please, pump the blood back into wrestling. This is Goldizzy. Peace out.